One of the most underestimated and most valuable things that you can do in your business is make a good plan for the year. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to set your business goals for the year and then how to hit your business goals for the year. We're going to look at a few aspects. First, we're going to look at your financials, how to plan your financials out, how to plan your marketing sales, how to plan your production and profitability and map that out, overhead, and then some of the really important things to consider when planning and mapping out your goals that we screwed up for a lot of years. My name is Eric Barstow. I'm the founder of Painting Business Pro. I've coached thousands of painting contractors over the last 20 years. I've helped hundreds of painting contractors build million or multi-million dollar businesses. I run a portfolio of painting companies. We do over $23 million a year and growing. And that's about it. So let's jump right into the video and get going. So when building your business plan for the year, we always start with the financials. So to make this really simple, the financials look like this. So you're gonna have your revenue at the top, and then we have our cost of goods sold, all right? Another way to say this is we could call these our variable costs. In our business, that's things like, for most of you watching this video, it's gonna be labor, what you're paying for labor on the job sites, what you're paying for material on the job sites, and then any labor burden like taxes or workers' comp or something like that. So at the top of our business plan, we have the total revenue. So we'll just say that we're aiming for $500,000. And then we have our costs. So we're aiming for $250,000. Then what we have here is we have our overhead. All right, so your overhead is all of your fixed costs. That's gonna be like an office. It'll be a liability insurance policy that doesn't change with volume. It's gonna be maybe your accountant. So there's some overhead expenses that you're gonna have. And then we like to count this separately, but then you have your marketing. And then we have our net profit. And by the way, below this video, there's gonna be a link to our Fast Growth Roadmap. And in that Fast Growth Roadmap, you can get access to a pretty simplified business plan that's gonna help you plan this out. But generally speaking, when we look at a financial plan, at the very top, we've got the revenue goal that you have for the year. And then the next thing down is how much are we gonna spend on the labor and materials to deliver that revenue goal? And then we have our overhead, and then we've got our marketing expenses, and then at the bottom is our net profit. So we say 500,000 minus 250 minus the overhead minus the marketing equals the net profit. So before our year even starts, we can have an idea of how much money we're gonna make at the end of the year, which is really important going into the year, because what a lot of business owners do is they start and they don't plan that out. And so by default, we just kind of end up living paycheck to paycheck. When things go really good, we make more money. When things don't go, and at the end of the year, it's like, how'd we do? We don't want that. We want to plan how much we're going to make, how healthy the business is going to be, and then we want to execute that plan. So now that we understand this, we want to take a look at the next most important thing that we need to plan before the year starts, which is on this, how are we going to hit this number? All right, so because if we don't hit the revenue number, we can't hit the net profit number. So how we hit the revenue number is first, we need to sell it, right? So that's marketing and sales. Separately, we're going to track a few things on marketing and sales. So you want to track this weekly. Uh-oh, my marker's dying. Weekly, you're going to track your leads, your estimates done, your estimate, and then jobs sold, and total sales. So every week, how many leads do I need to get? How many estimates do I need to do? How many jobs do I need to sell? And how much do I need to sell total to get to 500,000? So on average, that's $10,000 a week. So maybe that's 2 jobs. So I got to do 5 estimates. So I need 8 leads. So maybe we say weekly, I need 8 leads, 5 estimates, 2 jobs for 10,000. But also, you want to map this out throughout the whole year. And you know in your market where there's seasonality. So you're probably not going to do exactly this every week all year. You might have a slower January, but then a really busy July. So January might be, 5 leads, 3 estimates, and 1 book job. And then July, maybe you're doing 12 leads, 8 estimates, and 3 book jobs, right? So you've got to map this out before the year even starts. That's how you set your goals for the year. First, we set this financial plan, and then we got to set the marketing and sales plan, because if we don't sell it, we can't hit this number. If you only sell 400,000, you can't do 500,000. So we need to make a plan for how many leads do we need, how many estimates do we need, and then based on how many leads and estimates you need, we're gonna plug that in and say, hey, do we have enough money budgeted for marketing to get that many leads? Oh, we need 400 leads this year. Well, our leads cost $100 on average, so I need $40,000 budgeted for marketing. Do I have 40,000 here? Well, you can make sure you do. So now we've got a good financial plan that says this is our revenue and how much we're gonna make. We have a good marketing sales plan to hit this top line. Then we need to make sure we have a good production plan. So every week, how many jobs do we need to produce? Well, $10,000 a week on average. So it's the same thing here. We just got to track how much revenue do we produce every week. And same thing, consider your seasonality. Probably not going to produce much in January. We're going to produce a lot in July in Colorado. So you map out your production. Then we need to map out the profitability. So that's this number here. If we hit 500,000 because we hit the marketing and sales target and we produce all the work, that's good. So we check that box. Now we need to say, okay, we're going to need to track how profitable we are. And so that's what we're going to do every single week. Every single job, you're going to look at and say, how profitable were we? And add that up and make sure throughout the year you're tracking this. All right, next thing up, so that's how we hit this target. We just track it every single week. Again, we're going to map out the financials, we're going to map out marketing, sales, we're going to map out production, and then throughout the year, you're going to track it every week. We'll come back to that though. And then overhead is pretty fixed. So mostly like your overhead, you know what you're going to spend on overhead, put it in there and stick to it. Marketing, we already calculated over here, and then our net profit. So that's how we hit our net profit goal. You want to make 150,000? Well, you just got to set the targets and map all this out to see what do you got to do to do 150. Once you have that 150, all right, let's make a marketing and sales plan to hit 150. Let's make a production plan to hit 150. Let's make sure we've got enough marketing money budgeted. Let's make sure our overhead is accurate. That's how we're going to hit that goal. All right, so that's how we set a plan. Now, the last thing before we get into how to hit the plan is these planning considerations. So when you're mapping out your weekly sales and marketing targets and your weekly production targets, there's a couple things I'd recommend considering. The first one is definitely consider seasonality. And once you start planning your business like this, you'll start to know what your seasonality is, because like we can just look back the last 4 years and say, what do we usually do in January compared to July? So we can pretty much see those trends. So consider seasonality. I would also recommend think through when you're going to take vacations or when you're going to be off. Think about holidays. 4th of July week is always going to be a slower week. Plan for those dips. So you just want to be really thoughtful and plan to get sick. Plan for your team to get sick. We've got one company where we have 5 sales reps now, and what we noticed is like with 5 sales reps, there's almost always one sales rep that's sick or out of town. And so almost like every week, we never get 5 full sales reps. We get like 4.3 sales reps on average every week with 5 sales reps. So you need to plan conservatively when you're making that plan. And that's enough on making the plan. So now how we hit it. So once you've built this plan for the year, then what you do is every weekly, you just update your actual sales and marketing numbers. How many leads did we actually get? How many estimates did we actually do? How many jobs did we actually book? How much sales did we book compared to our plan? Did we hit it? Yes, good. Did we not hit it? No. All right, we'll make an adjustment quickly because we just fell behind the target. And if I don't hit this, I can't hit this. And then weekly, you're gonna update your production. Did we produce the work we need? Hey, it's April, we're supposed to have produced 100,000, we've only produced 80. Well, you better make some changes and start to catch up, because if you don't produce 500, you won't hit this and you won't hit this. So we update marketing, sales, and production every week. And then we also update your gross profit every week. So every job that you produced, you measure your profit. How much did we pay for labor? How much do we pay for materials? And are we on target here? Every week. So if you miss for a week, you correct quickly, because if you hit this, but you don't hit this, you can't hit this. And then finally, monthly, you're gonna have your accountant do your financials, and you're gonna check and say, hey, is our overhead on track? Did we estimate it correctly? Is our marketing on track? The biggest mistake people make with marketing is they literally don't spend enough money on marketing. I can't tell you how common that is, where I look and I say, you missed your target. And people are like, Eric, I missed my target. Why? And I look at all the numbers and I'm like, everything's right. Oh, but you spent half of what you planned to spend on marketing. If you would have just spent that, you would have had more leads, more estimates, more sales, and you actually would have hit this, and you would have hit this. All right, so that is how you're gonna actually execute the plan next year, is every week you update your numbers, every month you update your financials, and you use that to guide your decision making. If you're missing targets, how are you correcting quickly to hit those targets? And if you're hitting targets, great, what can you do to continue to hit and exceed those targets so you can hit or exceed this? All right, so that's how you make a business plan for next year. Again, there's a resource below the video that you can download. It's free. It should help you. And if you want to work with me and my team to help you do all this and build your company super fast, then hit us up. We'd love to chat.